What's up, guys? Kamikaze Fox coming to you once again. This is going to be SRL Season 4, Round 2 at Austria this time round. We're getting set to get underway. Give me just a few moments here to get everything set up. I'm having some technical difficulties with my phone. And it doesn't look like we're quite ready to kick off yet. Give me 1 second here. I will give you a driver running order. Looks like we're going to have almost a full house today. Looks like the count is going to be 18 drivers out of 22, so that's pretty impressive. Alright, so let's get going here. Getting some guys finally starting to tune in. Get into our news and notes. Driver lineup. So the Just Games, as we get ready to kick off here with the 18-minute qualifying session. Here at Austria. Very obscure, the Red Bull Ring, formerly known as the A1 Ring. Relatively short course in length, only 10 corners, 2 of them being left-handers, 8 being right. Long straights, low downforce is going to be the key, and heavy braking zones for what should be a very interesting race. Turns 1 and 2 always seem to be big issues as far as the braking zones go at the end of the front stretch and then the very long stretch after turn 1. So the Just Games is Foons van Houten, followed by Sandro Dulius, Jor Marusic. And it looks like we finally going to get loaded in here. We got some guys chiming in on the live chat. There's Jor Marusic, Rafael Brito. So 18 cars, almost a full boat today. VSR Francis, that's Francis McGinn, followed by Dion Stahl, Jan Holm, Jesper Lempanen, Sam Brandt, Colin Higgins, Jorge Correa, Jo Marusic, Sam Van Elven, Rene van der Stapp, Ivan Brito, Vasilios Belasiotis is CSR Billy, and Fake Orpheus. That's a new one to me. We've got Cameron Weston Edwards, Sandra Julius, Lewis Marshall, Foons Van Houten, Nick Van Gelder. You hear the cars starting to fire up. Let's see if I can get some confirmation here on Fake Orpheus. That is Irfan Daniel, who did not make the last race. So you see some of the cars leaving now. And we've got Whip That Trick chiming in on a live chat. Always good to have him join us for some spectating, as he likes to do while he's at work. Definitely check out Whip That Trick's YouTube page. Heavy on the GTA vids if you guys are into that. Lots of funny stuff on there. Got Chris Dex chiming in. So we got a couple of guys on their out laps we're going to pick up here. This is Francis McGinn in the Force India. Missed last round, unfortunately. Looks like he's going to go and hit the hot lap here. So there's your first heavy braking zone at the end of turn 1. You got this long run down here, the straightaway. A couple of little kinks in it. Heavy on the brakes again. It's going to be another braking and passing zone here. Long run down this straightaway, another hard, heavy braking zone. And then you come out of this right-hander and into the back-to-back left-handers. There's one left-hander, big sweeping lefter, short shoot. Looks like he dropped the wheels there. Then you've got this next left-hander back into another S, and then another long run down another straightaway. Turn 9 is going to be crucial. A lot of guys go 4 off there over the curves, and then turn 10 and then back out onto the front stretch. McGinn's going to set the first time at a 1:0. Looks like Higgins actually sets the first time at a 1:06.334. So good for Higgins. Now Renee Vanderstappen is going at the top of the charts with a 1:05.415, and now Sandro Dulius is going 1:05.0, and we've got a caution in sector 1. And the Ferraris have now gone back-to-back at the top of the charts, and Jesper Lempinen just split them. So Jan Holmes got off of the grass there. Caution in sector 2, and Sam Brandt's going to come across the line. Jorge Carrera has now gone 8th fastest. Efren Daniel has gone 9th quickest with a 1:07.218. Another caution in sector 1. That's going to be probably at the top of the hill. And there it is, Francis McGinn, 1:04.0, a second faster, a full second faster than Sandro Dulius, to set a time of a 1:04.082. Unbelievable. Another caution in sector 2. Sam Elvin comes across the line with a 1:28. I'm sure that was not his hot lap. Trying to pick up some of these other guys that haven't set a time yet. This is Jan Holm at the top of the hill, turn 1. He's got one of the Toro Rossos behind him. Pick up SRL Sam. Looks like he's a little slow and off the pace. Ivan Brito in the Williams. Got caution in sectors 2 and 3. We've got some of the guys heading into the pits. Brito's coming out of the last corner now. 1:05.822. You go 8th fastest for him. Cautions in sectors 2 and 3. Pick up Vasilios. That is your round 1 winner from a couple weeks ago at Germany, where he won a very demanding race. It was dry qualifying last week, then it was a very, very wet race. The conditions did not improve. Vasilios did end up winning with a 15-second lead. Also picked up a formal warning at the end of the race for contact with Cameron Weston Edwards on lap 1. Now, warnings here in SRL, if a driver gets so many warnings, he will get a race ban. So he has got one that will be cleared in 12 months' time at the end of the season. So we'll stick with Vasilios. It looks like he's going to start his hot lap. Francis McGinn still at the top of the charts, but we've also got Nick Van Gelder, who has snuck in with a 1:04.568. So he's taking the second spot from Sandro Dulius, but he's a half second slower. And now we've got Lewis Marshall, 1:04.3. So they've got 3 cars at the top of the charts that have finally cracked the 1:05 mark and into the 1:04s. Dulius dropping down through the running order here as he's now 4th in this qualifying session. 11 minutes left to play. We continue to watch Vasilios. Oh, and he runs wide and into the gravel, and that was possibly a glitch because there doesn't seem to be a problem with the car. Not sure if that was my internet or his. Runs very wide out of that last corner down the front stretch. He's going to come across 104.558. That puts him third quickest, a couple of thousandths quicker than Nick Van Gelder. The only driver yet to set a time is Jan Holm. You see they're in the pits right now working on the car, going to make some adjustments for him. He finished 10th the last round in Germany, picking up a championship point. Good for him. A couple of guys out laps now. We'll pick up Sandro Dulius. Looks like he has just started this hot lap. You see him go by one of the factory Renaults there. That's Andre Sauerhog chiming in on the live chat. And a lot of guys rooting for a lot of different drivers, a lot of favorites here at SRL. Sauerhog's rooting for Lewis Marshall. We've got Higgins getting some love from his brother. Crispy Dex is rooting for Jura Marusic. The caution in sector 2. We continue to watch Dulius. Tries to cut it tight through this last corner, runs over the curve just a little bit. 104.597 for Sandro, so he cracks the 104s, but he's still only 5th quickest, and it looks like we've got Louis Quinlan who is joining us now. Looks like it just popped up at the bottom of the screen. He's joining the session. Quinlan did not have a very good outing last time out. Ended up crashing on lap 3. Under his own demise, didn't get any help from anybody. But last round's race, I should say, not last week, was 2 weeks ago. But Quinlan and Cameron Wilson-Edwards and Sam Brandt all had DNFs due to crashes. Ivan Brito ended up having a DNF as well. And Vasilios, the rookie, picked up his first pole and his first win last week. The pole was in the dry, the win was in the wet. You see one of the cars is way off back there in the sand trap. Julius is going to head into the pits. We're going to pick up Jesper Lepinen, who has proven to be very fast. He actually had a pole at Monza last year. It was his inaugural race, actually, so he got a pole in his first outing. I would imagine that a setup for Monza is very similar to a setup for Austria. They're both very low drag, high speed tracks. So I'm looking for a little bit more out of Jesper here in the Williams. And a couple more guys tuning in. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in for SRL here. This is round 2 in Austria. We're live here on the PN Sport platform. We are currently watching Jesper Lepinen trying to put in a hot lap. Currently 7th quickest with a 104.7. So your top 7 drivers have now cracked the 104 barrier. Francis McGinn is still your fastest car with a 104.082. So he's on the brink of cracking into the 103s. And Lepinen, he's very wide. And he's crashed heading into the pits. And around him has to go Sam Elvin. So Elvin has to take evasive action to get around Lepinen on the pit entrance. That could have been very costly for the both of them. Seven minutes left to play. We're going to pick up Francis McGinn. So McGinn was teammates last year with the infamous Killian Brady on the McLaren Honda team. Picked up quite a few podiums last year. He finished 2nd in the points. Had a couple of wins in the absence of Killian Brady towards the end of the year. Very quick driver. Very smooth driver. Just finished his out lap, and we're going to see what he can do here. Some of these guys with some of the rules implemented, and they don't want to burn off their tires in qualifying. You guys will have to start on the tires that they qualify with. Oh no, right into the barrier. And McGinn has gone head first, trying to push the car too hard. So he is not going to improve on his time this time round. We're going to pick up Lewis Marshall. Marshall's your second quickest car with a 104.3. And he just went a little bit quicker with a 104.227. Caution in Sector 3. Jorge Carrera has retired. We won't be able to see what happened to him, unfortunately, but it looks like he is done for the day. Saw the caution in Sector 3, and his name is Ghost. That usually indicates a heavy crash, so Carrera will be currently your 13th quickest car. And we've got cautions in Sector 2 and 3 now. Continue to watch Lewis Marshall. You see Nick Van Gelder has gone to the second spot now with a 104.341. I thought I saw Marshall post a 104.2, but it didn't register on the timing and scoring. Caution in Sector 3 still, and it looks like these guys are all going to head into the pits. See Cameron Weston Edwards there. Oh, and Edwards almost runs into the back end of his teammate Jan Holm, so Edwards currently 9th quickest. So less than 5 minutes left to play. You see a lot of these guys are going to pull into the pits, make a quick adjustment, do a fresh set of tires, and make one last-ditch effort to try and improve their spots. We'll pick up Sandro Dulius has dropped to 6th quickest. Behind his teammate. It's not very often that Sandro is out-qualified by his teammate Dion Stahl. And Sandro and Dion actually have the longest tenured team in SRL. They've been teammates since season 1. So that's 4 straight years now that they've been teammates in the Scuderia Ferraris. And you see he's really pushing the car. He's dropped the left side to the grass. He's now dropped the right side to the grass. He's pushing very hard. I think it's costing him more time than it's gaining him. Comes out of the last corner. And he runs across 105.182, so he does not improve on his time. And Sandro is going to call it a day. He's retired from the session. So currently your 7th quickest driver as he pulls off. So we're going to pick up Vasilios, last round's winner. Looks like he's off the pace here. Less than 3 minutes to play. Going very slow. Looks like he's going to make a last-ditch effort. Try and pick a pole position. We get a lot of guys in the outlap. Lewis Marshall's on an outlap. Renee Vanderstappen is on an outlap. A lot of guys in the pits. They need to leave here soon if they want to try and get one more lap in. You see they're all starting to pull out now. Cameron Weston Edwards coming out. Different Daniel is pulling out, currently 15th quickest. And Vasilios is not going to go for a hot lap. He's going to pull into the pits. Interesting. Fooled me. We'll pick up Lewis Marshall. Marshall's generally a driver not to be outdone, so he is going to, I'm sure, make a last-ditch effort here as the clock ticks down. He's going to cross the line with 1:25 left to play. Marshall. He'll have enough time to do 2 laps, but he might just make this his last one. He's got the DRS slot open as he heads down the straightaway into the heavy braking zone. He's got one of the Red Bulls in front of him. There's a caution in Sector 3. Looks like the Red Bull wisely got out of the way. DRS slot open again. And Ifrit Daniel has called it a day. He is currently 16th fastest. Caution in Sector 1, possibly some of the cars starting to pull over. 45 seconds left to go. Marshall will come across the line with enough time to do one more lap if this one isn't good enough. If he chooses, he can give it another shot. But remember, he's got to start on the tires that he qualifies with. Sam Van Elven has now called it a day. He's 11th quickest. Marshall runs very wide out of that last corner. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. He's going to come across 104.396, so he does not improve on his time. Is he going to stick with it and give it one more go? He's got the DRS slot open. He's going to stick with it, try and give it one last shot. See if he can improve his time. Currently, Francis McGinn is your pole sitter, 104.082. He set that time very early in the qualifying session. Vasilios is locked in at second place right now. Jesper Lempinen currently 4th. Marshall giving it everything he's currently got left in the car and left in the tires. Through the S's. You can hear the tires just rubbing on the curb. He's going to come out of the last corner, down the front stretch. 104.097 to put him second fastest. And a few thousandths off of Francis McGinn's time. We'll pick up Nick Van Gelder. He comes across 104.108 to take third. Rene Vanderstappen is coming across. He crosses the line now. He'll finish off in 8th for the qualifying session. So a great effort by Lewis Marshall with 2 laps to be put in at the end of the session. So here's your running order, your starting grid. This is Francis McGinn, followed by Lewis Marshall, Nick Van Gelder, Vasilios Velociotis, Jesper Lempinen, Dion Stahl out-qualifies Sandro Dulius, Rene Vanderstappen is 8th, Jorma Rus is 9th, Cameron Wilson-Edwards is 10th, Sam Van Elven is 11th, followed by Foons Van Houten, Colin Higgins, Ivan Brito, Jorge Carrera, Ifrit Daniel, Jan Holm, and Sam Brandt rounding out your 18 drivers in what is to be an exciting race, I'm sure. Now, last week's race was very wet compared to a very dry qualifying, so we'll see what Austria has in store for us this time. Got Sam Van Elven chiming in on the live chat. So we just did an 18-minute qualifying session. We'll have a 50% race, half the race distance of a normal F1 race. And I see Louis Quinlan's name, and I don't know that he's going to be in the running order. I also see Dutch Apple Tim, which I am not 100% sure who that is, and I'm not even sure if he's a part of the SRL League. Dutch Apple does not ring a bell with me, so we'll see what happens there. We're going to do with a formation lap. Guys are going to put some heat in the tires. So here's your pole sitter, Francis McGinn. Missed the first round. And starting behind him is Lewis Marshall. Marshall finished second spot the first round. Nick Van Gelder coincidentally finished third last round, so they are starting second and third. Vasilios was last round's winner. He'll be starting fourth. Followed by Jesper Lempinen. He had a win and a pole position last year. Good for him. Dion Stahl is 6th, Sandra Dooley is 7th, Renee Vanderstappen at the factory Renault finished 4th at the first round, is going to be starting 8th today. Joe Marusic, who finished 9th at the first round, is starting 9th today. And Cameron Weston Edwards is starting 10th. He'll be looking to make it past the first lap. He got taken out last race, and is going to be looking to score some points today for sure. Seb Van Elven in the Renault once again this year. It's his second year in SRL, his second consecutive year with Renault. Actually, one of his best races last year was up against Cameron Weston Edwards, where they fought for the 6th spot. And it turned out to be quite a drive from Van Elven, so he'll be looking to put some points on the board today. Foons Van Houten will be starting 12th. Colin Higgins will be 13th. Ivan Brito starting 14th. Jorge Carrera, who picked up the podium last year after more than a year of never being on it, will be starting 15th. Interfeld Daniel is going to be 16th. Jan Holm, who finished 10th last round, picked up a championship point, will be 17th. Sam Brandt, very disappointing qualifying effort for him, starting 18th. And then we have Dutch Apple Tim, who I'm not familiar with, in the McLaren. And then we have Louis Quinlan rounding out the 20th spot. So 20 drivers today. I believe that is an SRL record. So here we go, boys and girls. Lights out. A little bit of a glitch. Time to run what you brought, but it looked like there was a little bit of a glitch at the start. Oh no, Marshall gets put into the wall. Van Gelder tries to make a move. We've got 3 wide in the back. There's all kinds of contact back there. See the cars coming over the crest of the hill. And Dulius has dropped all the way back to 12th. He was a part of a 3 wide mess. Cameron Weston Edwards has picked up a few spots. A little bit of contact here with a lot of the drivers. Bits and pieces of wing flying everywhere. Oh, and look at this. 3 wide down at the end of the straightaway. Oh, they bump and bang. Jesper Lebanon tries to get in there. And one of the Force Indias runs wide. That's Vasilios. Jesper manages to muscle his way through into the 3rd spot. He's got Van Gelder all over the back of him. And I can't even keep count of how many cars have wing damage on this opening lap. Van Gelder's going to try and shoot down the inside, makes the move, drops the right side, it's just in the grass. They both run wide. Van Gelder's going to get the spot. And while all this is happening in the back, Francis McGinn has led the first lap and has pulled away to a 1.3 second gap. Pick up Cameron Weston Edwards, who has managed to work his way into the 6th spot. Oh, and he has to take evasive action, and that's Vasilios there to Force India, trying to get around him. Couldn't quite make it happen. He's now in the slipstream of Edwards' car. Edwards is going to take the more defensive line. He's going to try and make this. Oh, and they bump wheels. Vasilios works his way around the outside. Edwards trying to get the power back down. Looks like Vasilios is going to have the better line heading into these left-handers. Crossover move by Edwards to try and make it stick, but he's not close enough to try and make the move. Vasilios is going to take the 6th spot away from Cameron Weston Edwards. Oh, and Ifrit Orpheus is a DNF. Not sure what happened to him. See if we can find out as we pick up Dutch Apple Tim. See if we see... Oh, and you can see the car there. Oh, he's way off the track. The right front suspension is broke. We just saw that off the background as we were picking up Dutch Apple Tim. We'll pick up the battle here with Jur Marusic and Jorge Correa. Correa's going to pick up the spot. Battles all over the track. I'm going to pick up Louis Quinlan real quick in the McLaren Honda. He crashed in lap 3 the first round in the wet. He started 20th on the grid today, and he's managed to work his way into 10th. And he's starting to creep in the back there, Sandro Dulius, who started I believe it was 6th, has fallen back. He was as low as 12th at one point. Sam Brandt, who started 18th, has now worked his way into 12th. The DRS is now enabled. We begin lap 4. So here's your top 2 spots. This is Lewis Marshall chasing Francis McGinn, and Marshall is within the DRS range of Francis McGinn's Force India. A hectic few opening laps. And Irfan Daniel has posted on the live chat that was a pretty disappointing debut. He got dirty air and lost control of the car at the end of Sector 2, and you saw the car was off and the grass right front suspension broken. Better luck on the next one. We're going to pick up Rene van der Stapp right now, as he just got passed by Vasilios Belasiotis. They still say it sounds like a medical condition more than it does a name. Vasilios is now starting to pull away. We're going to pick up the battle for the lead because Lewis Marshall has gotten the lead from 1.3 seconds down to less than half a second. And I think a lot of that has to do with the DRS. You see the back end kick out on Marshall's car there just a little bit. He's got the DRS slot open again. I think there's 3 DRS zones here in Austria. The front stretch, this straightaway, and then after this braking zone, you get the DRS one more time. And you see there the slot is open again. Meanwhile, Nick Van Gelder is holding solidly on the 3rd spot, 2.5 seconds behind this fight here for the lead. And Marshall's car seems to be very quick, but it doesn't look as stable as Francis McGinn's Force India. Looks like it's sliding around a little bit more. The back end's a little bit more loose than it is on McGinn's car. Probably a little bit of a difference in setup as far as the rear downforce goes. Marshall still within half a second. He's within striking distance. A little mistake by McGinn would hand over the lead to Marshall for sure. You see Francis McGinn sets another fastest lap, 107.366, and that time will continue to drop as the fuel burns off of the cars. And it looks like Jesper Lempinen is headed into the pits. So that'll give up some spots. Jorge Perea has headed into the pits as well. And Marshall is still trying to work his way around. It looks like they're coming up on a lap car. I thought I saw a lap car in the foreground. Let's see here. If you can just barely see that, that's possibly Jan Holm. He's out on the softs now. Oh, and Louis Quinlan has retired from the session. We're not sure what happened with him. See if we can pick up his car somewhere. I don't see Quinlan's car. And Quinlan has left the session. The car, I believe, is on AI at this point. So possibly a connection issue for Quinlan. And that'll be very disappointing for him. As I said earlier, he crashed on lap 3 back in Germany in round 1. We still continue to watch this battle for the lead. Oh, and look at this. Marshall now is all over the back. He tries the crossover move. He gets the power down now. There's a 3-second time penalty for Sandra Dooley's flashing across the screen. And now they're side-by-side for the lead. And they're coming up on the back of Jan Holm. He's going to have the blue flags waving at him. Marshall makes the move. McGinn tries the crossover. And now Dutch Appleton has picked up a 3-second penalty. And McGinn is not done. Oh, and he bangs into the rear of Marshall's car. McGinn does not want to give up that spot very easily. He's trying to fight back. These two are closing in on the lap car of Jan Holm. Be interesting to see how far Jan Holm gets out of the way, or if Lewis Marshall could possibly use Jan Holm as a pick to get around and put in between. If he can put Jan Holm between him and McGinn, that'll give him some breathing room. And Jan Holm just picked up a 3-second time penalty. He's trying to stay ahead of this battle, but they are closing in on him. And Holm now needs to get out of the way. Marshall dives to the inside. He tried putting Jan Holm in between the two of them, but Francis McGinn followed suit as they both dove into the inside. And here comes McGinn now. He's going to try and outbreak him. Can't quite get there. And Jan Holm has left the session. So Jan Holm, after being lapped on lap 8, disappointing running. Looks like he's called it a day. Jump on board with Marshall. We're going to see these two cars come down the bottom of the hill and around this right-hander. Oh, and the back end kicks out on McGinn's car. That was close. That was very close. Oh, and the back end kicks out again. So McGinn is trying to get the power down as soon as possible coming out of these corners. He gets that DRS slot open. Heavy on the brakes. He's going to try and jump to the inside of Marshall. He jumps over the curb. The back end doesn't kick out this time. Marshall takes the more defensive line. The DRS slot is open. McGinn's going to try and dive to the inside. He's going to outbrake him. Marshall hanging tough, but he's not going to be able to make it stick. And now they're going to be side by side. Marshall's got to go to more preferred line. Oh, but look at this power move on the outside by McGinn. McGinn retakes the lead back from Lewis Marshall. And now Marshall's going to have the DRS advantage. And while we're watching all of this unfold, 9 seconds back is going to be your third place car, Nick Van Gelder. But we're not leaving this battle right here. Marshall now is going to have the DRS advantage as they head through the 3 DRS zones up the hill. Marshall looks like he thought about it, but the hot spot to make the pass is down at the end of this straightaway. There goes Marshall. He's going to move to the inside. He's not quite there to make the move. Jump on board. He's all over the back of the car. McGinn takes the more defensive line. Oh, it looks like they bang wheels just a little bit. Crossover move from Marshall. Tries to get the power down. He's now on the inside. Can he pull the same move on McGinn? No, he cannot. McGinn hangs tough and seals the spot for now. And once again, within a third of a second from each other, they come across the line. Holland Higgins just picked up a 3-second time penalty. There's a lot of action going on in the rest of the track. I'd love to show you guys, but we're not leaving the battle for the lead. You see the back end of Marshall's car kick out there. And now Cameron Weston Edwards has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Edwards has worked his way into the 5th spot after starting 9th. Going to get the DRS slot open. Slipstream in full effect. Oh, and look at this. And Vasilios has retired. Round 1's winner was running 9th. And he says he's retired. It looks like he may have crashed somewhere. I'd love to try and pick it up, but we're not going to leave the battle for the lead. See, some of the guys are starting to dive into the pits. I wonder if Vasilios had a problem trying to get into the pits. In fact, he did have a problem during qualifying where he had slid wide and hit the wall. You see one of the Toro Rossos heading in. Marshall's car, the back end kicks out, starting to slide around a little bit. He's lost 3/10. Jurgen Marusic just picked up another 3-second time penalty. So a lot of the cars that are behind these two have started the pit. It's jumbled up the running order a little bit. Looks like Ivan Brito been going in the pits. Sandra Dulius is now in the pits. And I believe Vasilios and Quinlan, I think they might have both had issues trying to get into the pit entrance. You continue to watch this battle unfold. Marshall Dutch Apple Tim, again, not sure who that is, but he picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently running in the 13th spot in the McLaren. What I have for my McLaren notes was Ethan Croft and Louis Quinlan. So I'm not sure who Dutch Appleton is. And both of these guys are going to head into the pits now. So who's going to get out first? You see Francis jumps into the pits. And he's away. Marshall gets his tires swapped out. Going to need a front wing. So McGinn's going to get out before him. Marshall's gone. Dutch Apple Tim is just retired from the session. Looks like he's got a DNF, so possibly another crash for him. Now, while all this was happening, Francis McGinn managed to get in and retain the lead. Sam Brandt moves into second under the pit sequence, who started way in the back. Lewis Marshall is now third. And Marshall, who was 0.3 of a second, could see the back of Francis McGinn's car as they head to the pits, is now 6 seconds behind Francis McGinn. So we'll pick up this battle here for the time being. This is the battle for 7th. This is Jorge Correa in the Mercedes, following Rene van der Staap, who is following Dion Stahl. So it's about to be a 3-way battle for the 6th spot. Van der Staap now has caught the back end of Dion Stahl. They are both on the soft tires. A little bit of bumping there, it looks like. So 3-way battle for 6th spot now. It looks like Jorge thought about it, then thought twice, came back in line. Now Van der Staap and Jorge are going to have the DRS advantage. Who's going to make what move and where? Oh, and look at this. Van der Staap tries to jump to the inside, runs wide. That leaves the door open for Correa. Now it's a drag race down the backstretch. These two are both going to be getting a little bit of a slipstream off of the Ferrari. And look at this. Van der Staap manages to hold on to the spot, dives to the inside, and he's going to take the position. And look at this. Correa's going to get on the inside of both of them. Stahl runs wide, unfortunately. Oh, it's going to be 2 wide, 3 wide, hanging into the corner. Big lock up there by Jorge. He picks up the spot on Dion Stahl. Rene van der Staap manages to hang on to 5th. And Dion just lost 2 spots in a matter of 2 corners. We're going to jump back to the 9th position now. This is rivals on the track, but friends off the track. This is Sandro working on the backside of Cameron Weston Edwards. So on track rivals, off track friends. 3-second penalty for Jorge. We pick up this battle now. And just to keep a tally on what's going on at the front, Lewis Marshall did manage to get around Sam Brandt to pick up the 2nd spot. Brandt has now fallen back to the 4th spot. He's following Jesper Lempinen in 3rd, but oh, here we go, Julius. Oh, they bang wheels. Now, lucky for Sandro, he had the DRS advantage, and he's got the preferred line as they head down to the bottom of the hill. Edwards is going to let him go, tries to do the crossover move. Edwards manages to make that work. As I was saying real quickly, Marshall has the lead cut down from 7 seconds to about 5.5 seconds to Francis McGinn. So Marshall is trying to put in some hot laps to try and close that gap. We continue to watch this battle. This is Sandro Duelis. We're going to jump back up real quick to the 6th spot. This is 5th, 6th, and 7th, and this battle hasn't died off. The running order is now the same, but Dion Stahl has managed to catch back up to these two. You see Jorge trying to make a move on the outside. Look at this, 3 wide heading into the corner. Dion Stahl's going to get in there, and he's going to take back one of the 2 positions he lost a couple laps ago. No, he can't make it stick. And Dutch Appleton is officially retired from the session of DNF for him. Lock up there from Jorge Correa, and look at this. The 3-way battle is about to become a 4-way battle as Nick Van Gelder has now closed in on the back of Dion Stahl. We continue to watch 6th spot here. That's Jorge Correa trying to take over Rene van der Staap. And you've got 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. You can throw a blanket over all 4 of them. And look at this, Dion Stahl around the outside. Correa's going to jump to the inside. We're going to pick up Nick Van Gelder. Correa was in the middle of that battle and jumped into the pits. We'll pick up Nick Van Gelder. And it's funny because these cars are so close together. You see in the background now you've got Cameron Weston Edwards and Sandro Dulius. We're about to have a 5-way car battle at the end of this straightaway, it seems like. And we continue to keep tabs on the lead. Lewis Marshall has the time cut down to 4 seconds. So he is closing the gap to Francis McGinn. Some unbelievable racing going on. Got Pete Class joining in on the live chat. Wants to know how he can join our league. And you will have to contact Sandro Dulius 69. He is currently in the 9th position. He is the league owner. By all means, look him up on PSN. Send him a message, and I'm sure he will work to try and find a spot for you, possibly on a team or as reserve. Francis McGinn has headed in and back out of the pits. He is about to be a part of this gaggle of cars. Hands the lead back over to Lewis Marshall. And look at this. Van Gelder and Stahl side by side. Rene van der Staap through the pit sequence is now in the 3rd. But behind him you've got this mess of cars coming down the hill. It looks like the start of the race all over again. And this is Dion Stahl and Cameron Weston Edwards now. Oh no, and look at this. McGinn moves to the inside. He's on fresher tires. He's also on the super softs, it looks like. And you've got Van Gelder trying to get around. Oh, and he bumps Rene van der Staap wide. Van Gelder takes over the 3rd spot. So here we go, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, all within a half a second of each other, it seems like. McGinn is going to try and work his way through traffic. Now we've got Cameron Weston Edwards trying to get on the inside of Rene van der Staap. They bump just a little bit. DRS slot open. Look at McGinn. And McGinn is given the shake and bake to Cameron Weston Edwards. Pulls out of the draft. Dives to the inside. Edwards is going to try and hang on to that spot. Fresher tires prevail for McGinn to get around van der Staap. Can he get by Cameron Weston Edwards, who has managed to work his way into 4th? He dives to the inside. Ooh, that was close. Meanwhile, Lewis Marshall has taken over the lead, obviously, for the pit sequence with McGinn heading in. He's got a 6-second lead over Jesper Lempinen, who's in 2nd. Van Gelder, who's essentially a part of this gaggle of cars here, is in 3rd. Followed by Cameron Weston Edwards, Francis McGinn, Rene van der Staap, Sandro Dulius, Dion Stahl. And McGinn gets around Cameron Weston Edwards to take over the 4th spot. Rene van der Staap leaves the battle, heads into the pits. Colin Higgins picks up a 3-second time penalty. Haven't seen much of him today. He's currently running 15th. And now you've got the Ferraris running back-to-back 6th and 7th. McGinn now. Oh, no, there's some contact here at the end of the straightaway. And look at this. The door opens for Edwards to try and make a comeback. You've got one of the Toro Rossos way off on the side there in the grass, trying to get out of the way of this massive battle. And this looks like to be the lap car no, there's contact. And that looked like it was the lapped car of Jan Holm, who has left the session. His car has gone AI. He's currently running 16th, and he got in the middle of that. McGinn now going to try to work around the outside of Nick Van Gelder. He uses all the curbs. Everybody runs wide. Here comes Edwards. Edwards gets the run on the inside heading into turn 1. Levinen has just dived into the pits, which means second spot has now been handed back over to Francis McGinn, some 28 seconds behind Lewis Marshall. This is some unbelievable racing we've been seeing here in the last few laps. We're working lap 21 of 36, and the action has not stopped from the word go. Edwards trying to work on Van Gelder to pick up that third spot. I don't know why the TV broadcasters decided to look out the back of the car. Higgins has retired from the session. DNF, he was running 15th. And now the gap has finally been split a little bit. 0.8 of a second between Nick Van Gelder and Cameron Weston Edwards. Gives me a chance to semi-catch my breath. We're going to pick up Sandro Dulius, who is currently half a second behind his friend and co-league operator Sam Brandt. And just behind him we've got Foons van Houten, who is currently running 9th. Trying to close the gap to Jesper Lempinen, and Higgins has officially left the session. Oh, and around goes, oh no! Van Houten into the wall. He's going to give up a spot to his teammate. Here comes Sam Elvin. That's going to put Elvin into the 10th spot, and Van Houten finally gets going. So, unfortunate series of events for him. And you see Sam Elvin give the spot back. Not sure what that's about. Possibly passing under the yellow. Oh no, and look at this. The Mercedes is off again. Van Houten had run wide into the gravel. And here comes Jo Marusic in the Red Bull. And he is going to take that spot very easily. And it looks like Van Houten is going to head into the pits. So we're going to give you a quick grid rundown after everything that has unfolded. Lewis Marshall is currently your leader after everything that had unfolded earlier in the race. Francis McGinn is working a different pit strategy than Marshall, and he is trying to close the gap. He is 8.7 seconds behind. Nick Van Gelder is solidly in 3rd. Cameron Weston Edwards has worked his way into 4th, followed by Dion Stahl. Sam Brandt is behind him in 6th. Jesper Lempinen. He is running 7th, but he's got Sandro Dulius all over the back of him. There goes Sam Brandt. Jesper Lempinen coming into the picture. Sandro got the DRS slot open. Quickly, Jorge Correa has worked his way into 9th, and Sam Van Elven is currently 10th. We're going to pick up the battle here. This is your closest battle on track currently. Sandro, who qualified 6th for this race, running on the softs. This has been an unbelievable race. It's settled down now for a little bit. Jesper Lempinen is starting to close in on the back of SRL Sam. While that's happening, Sandro Dulius is 1.5 seconds behind these two. And here comes Jesper. Sam Brandt, who qualified very poorly in the 18th spot with a 106 there in qualifying, has now managed to work his way into 6th spot through the pit sequence. It's some good driving. He's stayed out of trouble for most of the day. You see he's on the soft tires. Jesper's on the super softs, and Sam's going to try and take the more defensive line, but he's not going to be a match for the DRS. And Jesper is going to pick up the 6th spot. Now he can start trying to claw his way into the 5th spot where Dion Stahl is. Oh no, and Stahl has run wide. He puts the left side into the grass. See Jesper coming into the foreground. Sam Brandt is still within a second, but I don't think Brandt has the pace to try and catch back up to Jesper Lempinen. 10 laps left in round 2 here of the SRL F1 2018 on the PS4 platform. And while there are many SRL leagues, there is only one Sandro Racing League, and that is what you are currently watching. It's been an unbelievable race. And Jesper Lempinen just picked up a 3-second time penalty. And time penalties now, when we start to talk about, are going to start becoming a factor. And just in this particular instance, even if the race finished now, Jesper would lose the 6th spot to Sam Brandt because of that 3-second time penalty. So we started with 20 cars. That's an SRL record. I believe that either is a new record or I think it might tie the record from last year. Started with 20 cars. We've lost 4 of them. I'm sorry, 5 of them. Colin Higgins crashed out. Dutch Appleton, not sure who he was or how it happened, but he has crashed out. Vasilios, who was your round 1 winner back in Germany a couple weeks ago, I believe he crashed out trying to get into the pit. Same thing with Louis Quinlan. That's 2 DNFs in a row for Quinlan. And Irfan Daniel, fake Orpheus 22, was making his SRL debut, and you see this. Lempinen has run very wide into the grass, blows the corner, takes out the sign, and is now falling 3 seconds back. That's going to give Sam Brandt a chance to close the gap back up a little bit. But your running order currently hasn't changed much in the last few laps. Lewis Marshall has pulled out to a very commanding 12-second lead over Francis McGinn. Oh no, McGinn has run wide as we just pick him up. He runs wide. So 12 seconds has now become 15 seconds. And that allows Nick Van Gelder to close the gap down to about 3. So Van Gelder running the softs. Oh, and you see one of the Saubers is around. I believe that's going to be Jan Holm. And his car is currently... Now his car is going AI. Jan Holm had retired from the session a little while ago. And this is his car being AI, and it looks like it is all over the place. Trying to stay out of the way, and we've got something happening here. Oh no, there's been a big crash. Sam Brandt, Cameron Weston Edwards. Oh my goodness, and I'm sorry we didn't pick that up. We were watching the other Sauber, and 2 cars gone, massive crash. That's unbelievable. Sam Brandt, Cameron Weston Edwards are... I wish I would have picked that up. Those 2 are very good drivers, very clean drivers. Had to be a misjudgment on somebody at that point. So 2 of the top drivers are now gone from this session, and that's going to shake things up here in the points. Unbelievable. Lewis Marshall has now pulled out to 21 seconds over Nick Van Gelder. Francis McGinn must have been involved in what had happened in the back. McGinn is now dropped back to 8th. So Van Gelder picks up 2nd spot, followed by Dion Stahl. Jesper Lempinen 4th. Sandra Dulius is now in the 5th. Jorge Correa has worked his way in the 6th spot. Renee Vanderstappen is 7th. Followed closely by Francis McGinn in 8th. Sam Van Elven is 9th. And Jurgen Marusic has worked his way into 10th spot. This is Francis McGinn working on the back of Renee Vanderstappen. got the inside line. Van der Stoep runs wide through the grass. McGinn's going to have the DRS advantage. He was behind him at the timing mark. Slipstream for Rennie. And Rennie is not close enough to make a move. So unfortunately, we didn't catch the crash between Edwards and Brandt. I kind of wish we would have. Would love to see some footage of that after the race. So working lap 30 of 36. And there's officially 13 cars left running. And there is a good chance we are currently looking, unless there's any other mishaps, we are currently looking more than likely at the finishing order as well. Oh, but you see Lewis Marshall. He's going around the lap car of Jan Holm, who's posed a problem today for sure. Marshall 22 seconds over Nick Van Gelder. So that's going to be, if they finish the way they are now, that'll be the second race in a row. Van Gelder has finished in the podium spot, along with Lewis Marshall, since he would be the race winner. Dion Stahl is not that far behind Nick Van Gelder. See if he can maybe close the gap here in the closing laps. Jesper Limited has had quite an adventurous race. Running fourth. Dulius is fifth. Jorge has managed to work his way into sixth, but you see Francis McGinn is closing the gap to him. So McGinn's on a little bit of a tear here in these closing laps. I'm not sure what happened to him to drop him from second all the way back to eighth. I don't know if it was through the pit sequence or it was through the crash that we didn't catch. But McGinn is now working all over the back of the Mercedes of Korea, and he is going to easily make this pass heading into turn one. And he just ran the fastest lap as well, 105.827. So McGinn's got the fuel mixture turned up, and the tires are heated up for sure. You see the slot is open for Korea. Korea's going to try and take this position back, locks up the front wheels. And we've got a battle here real quick. We've got a battle for ninth spot between Jörg Marusic and Sam Van Elven. Oh, and Van Elven takes the spot back. He started 12th in this race. Stated he wanted to put some points on the board, so he's going to fight his heart out. Locks up the right front. Marusic is going to have the DRS advantage. And a little bit of a lock up there from Sam Van Elven. Marusic still trying to close the gap. Runs a little bit wide there. McGinn just picked up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. You see, that is the Haas. That is Lewis Marshall, I believe, coming into the midst of this. Yeah, that is Lewis Marshall coming up on the back of this battle for ninth. So that'll be interesting to see if these two get out of the way. They technically don't have to. They're fighting each other for position. You see, around the outside goes Marusic. Here comes Marshall. He's going to try and split the two. Very dangerous move by Lewis Marshall. Manages to get through the two of them. And a big lock up there from Van Elven. Manages to get the car turned there in time. Gets that power down. He hangs onto that spot and pulls away from Marusic just a little bit. Dion Stahl just picked up a 3-second time penalty. (33 of 36 down as far as the lap count goes. And Francis McGinn is still on his tear. He is now closed in on the back of Sandro Dulius. A little bit of a lock up there from Francis. got Cameron Weston Edwards, who has just joined us in the booth. So we continue to watch this battle between Francis McGinn and Sandra Dulius. McGinn's going to go around the outside. And we're going to talk to Edwards here in just a second. And McGinn takes the position from Sandra Dulius. And that is the last part of Jan Holm there in the way. Cameron Weston Edwards, always a pleasure to talk to you, but not under these circumstances. We missed the crash. What had happened?
I just got a bit focused because Francis has just got to come into the pits because he got damaged from his crash with Jan. So I was just watching his car go into the pits, just clips the curb on the final corner span. The car was in the middle of the circuit. Sam came around the corner unsighted, straight into the side of me.
And we saw a little bit of the aftermath. It looked like it was quite the wreck. And we had missed the incident with Francis McGinn, so that explains why he fell back in the running order. And that also explains why your teammate's car was in the grass. So unfortunate. That's 2 races in a row for you. Unfortunately, DNFs. I'm sure not.
Hopefully the bad luck stays at the start of the season.
As I say, not the way you wanted to start this season off. I mean, it's still very early in the season. I mean, do you think you'll be able to make this up throughout the course of the rest of the season?
Well, I mean, if Lewis wins today, he'll be on 43 championship points, and the next man will be Vasilios on 25, or it might be Nick on 30. If they're both in the positions if they finish in the positions they are now, Nick will win 33. Sorry. So I don't think I'll be able to make it all the way back up, but if I can have retirements, so can anyone else. So it's still all to play for.
We just saw Jesper Lippinen take over the 3rd spot from Dion Stahl, and now we've got Sandra Dulius dropping to the order. Francis McGinn just picked up 5th, and Correa managed to get around Sandro as well. So Sandro has fallen back to side by side with Correa. And now this is about to be a 3-way battle in the closing laps. This is the final lap, last little bit of track left. Correa manages to get on the inside of Sandra Dulius. We've got Renee Vanderstapp there as well. 3-way battle. Look at this, 3 wide coming down to the last set of corners. And I think these guys might have one more lap to go. Oh no, and there's damage done to Correa's car. Oh, and he's off. And into the wall. The battle's not done for 3rd. This is officially the last lap. Lewis Marshall is going to be finishing this race here in the next few moments. We watch this battle for 3rd. Jesper Lippinen and Dion Stahl. Marshall has officially finished the race 30 seconds ahead of these guys, trying to battle it out for the last spot on the podium. Nick Van Gelder, you see right there in the foreground. Look at this, Jesper Lippinen, 2 corners to go, makes the move on the inside. Dion Stahl tries to come back. He's going to put it down on the inside. This is for the last spot on the podium. Dion Stahl tries to hang on to it. And it looks like, officially, Dion Stahl would have came across the line 3rd, but through the 3-second time penalty secured, Jesper Lippinen gets to hang on to the 3rd spot. Francis McGinn comes across the line 5th. Unbelievable. There's Sandra Dulius. And here comes Jorge Correa. He runs very wide. He's going to come across the line 8th. Unbelievable race. Unbelievable race from start to finish. We heard from Cameron Weston Edwards. Fortunately for him, Sam Brandt had been a victim of those circumstances as well. You see Lewis Marshall, Nick Van Gelder, Jesper Lippinen, your top 3 on the podium. So Marshall picks up his first win of the year, and it's going to put him atop of the points. You heard Cameron Weston Edwards talk about it a little bit earlier. He's finished 2nd at the first round. He's won this round. Then Gelder finishes on the podium for the 2nd race in a row. So So he is back to his old form. Give you the official finishing order here after all the time penalties have been accrued. So Lewis Marshall, your winner. Nick Van Gelder, Jesper Lempinen, your podium sitters. Dion Stahl, 4th. Francis McGinn, 5th. Renee Vanderstapp is 6th. Sandro Dolia is 7th. Jorge Correa is 8th. Sam Van Elven does get to put points on the board, coming in 9th. Funs Van Houten manages to round out the top 10 and gets a championship point for that. Johan Marusic, Ivan Brito, Jan Holm, Sam Brand, Cameron Weston Edwards, Colin Higgins, Dutch Apple Tim, Basilios, Louis Quinlan, and Irfan Daniel, rounding out your 10 non-points paying positions. Unbelievable race today. You see Sam Brandt, Cameron Weston Edwards, Higgins, Dutch Apple Tim, Vasilios, Quinlan, and Irfan Daniel all had DNFs. We started with 20 cars today, finished with 12. So this has been round 2 of the SRL season, and that was quite an exciting round. Now, if you're looking for more racing action, later today you can pick up IRL. They're going to be doing their Gran Turismo Sport GT3 League at the Circuit de la Sarthe. That'll be starting at 19:30 German time, I believe. Unfortunately, I usually race in those races, but I will not be able to attend the race today. And then also you can check out IRL Racing tomorrow morning at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, 11:15 Eastern Standard Time here in the States. SRL will be back in the next couple weeks, so be sure to check out that. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to SRL Racing on YouTube. Make sure you check out Kamikaze Fox. That's me. You can like, subscribe, and comment to me. And also check out IRL. You can also check out IRL on the web at www.internationalracingligue-irl.com. New website is up and running. You can also check out the SRL website. I don't know what it is because it's a very complicated web name, but look it up. It's good stuff. I'm Kamikaze Fox. This has been SRL. We'll see you at the next round.